This is Russell Schneider, Jescal Systems. I'm here at the IBM Edge 2013 booth. Joining me today is Charles Godshall, Global Technical Director for IBM for Flash Systems. We hear a lot about Flash Systems here at Edge these days. Charles, let me ask you a few questions.
Sure.
My impression was disks, regular rotating disks, were getting faster as each new generation came out. Is that true, or is that something that I have a misperception?
Yeah, not really. Disks have gotten faster over the years, but a lot of people are waiting for the 25,000 RPM drive, and it's really not coming. Physics just we've reached a limit there. We're continuing to get more dense, not as fast as we were because we're at the tail end of Moore's law with it. But disk speeds have not kept up with the speed of processors and networks and things over the years. Over the last 10 years, networks have increased 10x, processor speeds have increased 20x, bus speeds have increased exponentially as well. And today, still 3 to 5 milliseconds is considered good I/O response time. And with Flash Systems, we're really changing that from a discussion of milliseconds to microseconds.
So if I understand that, does that mean that servers and networks, which are much faster today, are actually waiting on storage, and that's the bottleneck in a typical application environment?
In many application environments, especially in OLTP applications and things, as you look at the overall transaction time that it takes to process a transaction, the processor itself will run in about 100 microseconds. It'll tee it up if you're waiting for a 5 millisecond I/O response time. That's 5,000 microseconds that you're waiting. You get that data into the processor, and then you have another 100 microseconds to complete it. And overall, if you can reduce that from 5,000 to 200, you have a 12x improvement, or more in many cases, of the overall time that it takes to complete a transaction in the system. So
if I were to deploy an IBM Flash system in a data center environment and port some volumes over to it for an application, how much could I speed up my infrastructure potentially without making any other changes to the data center environment, with the same networks, the same servers, with no application tuning, no projects? Right. How much could just the Flash speed up?
In many cases, depending on the application you're running and the configuration, all that stuff, we see anywhere from 2 to 12x improvement for the application without doing any specific tuning at all, just by taking and removing that I/O bottleneck and introducing the Flash systems.
That might allow us to defer purchases of servers and network equipment?
Absolutely, and that's another one of the important pieces of the economics around Flash systems, is that historically we've thrown a lot of extra processor at applications to get more speed and to get more performance out of it, and the unintended consequence there is that also drives up the cost of your database licensing for your application. And with Flash systems, we're able to give you that performance improvement without throwing more processor at it, so you get greater utilization out of the processors that you have today without adding more processors, without adding more licensing.
That's fantastic. Let me ask you a question. What is the form factor for your Flash system? What if I just wanted to put, say, 20 terabytes on the floor, usable capacity? How much space would that take up in RAM?
So a Flash Systems 820 is a 1U device. So we get 20 terabytes of flash storage, capable of doing roughly 500,000 IOPS at sub-millisecond I/O response times, averaging 200 microseconds in the system.
What if I needed a petabyte of storage? What would I be looking at there?
As you scale that out, if you take that 1U form factor and you filled up a whole rack, a 42U rack, you could literally get a petabyte in a floor tile.
And how much power would I be using to drive? This stuff obviously uses more power than disk because it's a lot faster, right?
No, actually it's quite the opposite. So the 820 uses about 400 watts of power, right, for the unit. So if you take that petabyte in a floor tile, the average petabyte configuration uses less power than your 200 terabyte traditional array.
So if I could get my wife to stop using her hairdryer, the 3,000 watt, with the 3,000 watts we save, we could probably drive a whole room full of IBM Flash storage.
Absolutely.
Okay, great. Is there anything else we should know about Flash? Let me ask you a question. It sounds like it's almost too good to be true, but from the average user perspective, now that I hear all the great things, my question would be, is this going to cost more, or is this going to cost less? Is it going to cost me money, save me money? Where are we in that equation?
We're really reaching the inflection point of cost. with spinning disk. So if you're running, tier 1 15,000 RPM spinning disk today, the costs are relatively equal. Just on a gigabyte per gigabyte, perspective, when you start taking into account the cost of the overall disk solution as you lay a RAID on it, as you short stroke the drives to get more IOPS and do some of these other things, and then throw in power and cooling, the cost per IOP is actually lower on flash systems versus spinning disk.
Charles, is there anything else we should know about flash systems here today at the IBM booth?
Flash Systems is ready to go. We're deploying it all over the place, and we've worked with a lot of customers, a lot of great case studies and things out there. And if you have any questions, reach out to your IBM representative.
How many are installed?
So we have over 1,000 installed today.
No kidding. That's fantastic.
Yep, and we continue to ramp up production to keep up with with demand actually.
Fantastic. And what's IBM's commitment to flash?
So we've made a major commitment to flash. It is a strategic direction for IBM. We've committed to spend over $1 billion in flash and R&D over the next few years. We just opened 12 global centers of competency across the globe, so that we have a place for customers to come and have deep flash expertise and be able to do POCs, to be able to do testing, to be able to.
Charles, what's IBM's corporate commitment to flash?
So IBM has made a strategic commitment to flash. You may have seen the announcement in April. We've committed to spend over $1 billion in flash and R&D going forward. We've opened 12 centers of competency around the world where customers are able to come in and do POCs, do briefings, really do application testing, and have deep flash technical expertise. We see the shift from to flash really as significant as the shift from from tape to spinning media, or from punch cards to spinning media. It's that significant. We see it changing the storage environment that much.
Charles Gottschall, thank you for joining JScale Systems here at the IBM Edge booth. We appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Our pleasure. Thank you.
This is Russell Schneider, JScale Systems. We're here at the IBM Edge 2013 booth, and joining us today is Manuel Avalos Vega and Funda Ajero from the IBM Cloud Storage team. Manuel, tell us what you do with the IBM Cloud Storage team.
Okay, I'm the Global Product Manager for IBM Smart Cloud Storage Access product.
And Funda, what's your role?
I am the Global Marketing Manager for Cloud Storage Solutions at IBM System Storage.
So if I'm an end user, tell me, what is Smart Cloud here in a couple of minutes? What is Smart Cloud? Why would I be interested in Smart Cloud?
Smart Cloud is IBM's cloud solutions, and we, IBM, have a broad range of cloud storage solutions as well as server solutions. And from customers to implement their own private clouds to public cloud solutions provided by IBM, all the way in between the hybrid clouds. And we, in the storage team, we have a variety of solutions and services and tools to help customers to do their own private clouds, help access IBM's public cloud storage solutions, as well as we can help them manage, implement, and host their own environments of cloud environments. So Smart Cloud Storage Access is a software that we have announced earlier this year that gives the clients to help implement a cloud storage in their own private environment. And it's a software tool, very simple, easy to use for an employee like myself or a partner that is an end user, basically, to be able to quickly provision in just a few seconds, few clicks, to provision their own storage capacity for them then to load the files that they want to load and then share it with other colleagues in a matter of seconds. So it is really meant to implement your secure private cloud storage environment for your employees so that they have you can improve their productivity and you can help them share and collaborate with other employees, other colleagues across the world in a secure network in their own environment. So you know your files are safe and you can share whatever the file you want to share, and you can do it with a few clicks. It improves and boosts productivity significantly.
So does this work with block and file-based storage, or one or the other?
Yeah, I can take that one. Today in the release 1.1, it's only working for file access, so you can share files with colleagues. But on this conference, we release a statement of direction that later, in the next release, we are going to support block provisioning. So in a way that DS8000, XIV, SAM volume controller, and under SAM volume controller, any device is going to be supported.
So if I'm in a typical end user environment today, and I'm a DBA or a workstation owner or an application owner, I have to go to the storage administrators and have them provision volumes or file space for me on an existing file server or storage system. So if I had the Smart Cloud Center installed, how do I get my self-service? Do I still have to go to the storage administrator?
No, not at all. You need to launch a very simple GUI, which is you just need a browser, right? So with your credentials, you are going to be able to do the block provisioning or the file access provisioning in matter of seconds, in few clicks. So instead of waiting hours, days, or weeks for your storage, you are going to be up and running in matter of seconds.
So, Funda, we're going to cut out the middleman. Am I understanding this right?
That is very correct. And the good news is that middleman, which is very scarce, right, in terms of resources, can focus on the value-added tasks that the companies are looking for the IT to do, right? Help me bring more innovation, help me keep pace at the rate of innovation so I can better utilize my internal resources where the end user, whether it's an employee or a cloud or an database admin or a developer, that wants a test resource right now, and it's going to have a choice. And you want your faster resource, which we call it gold class, or you want a cost-effective storage resource, and you can provision it at your own pace fairly quickly, and you can do it now without waiting for a storage admin to help you out in days or hours in some cases, but sometimes in weeks. Depends on how busy the company is.
So let's say that I'm an end user and I hear all these wonderful things and I want to have self-service and cut out the middleman here because that's obviously going to save money. Yes?
Yes.
It's going to cost less.
It will cost less. Certainly, it is a big piece of the important capability that companies are looking for, right?
Yes.
I want innovation, but at the same time, I want to do it cost effectively, or I don't want to pay a lot more for that.
So what does it take if I'm the end user and I'm liking everything I hear here? What does it take for me to deploy Smart Cloud in my environment, typical enterprise data center?
Okay, actually, Smart Cloud Storage Access can be deployed in matter of maybe hours if you have the right infrastructure. On today, release 1.1, we support B7000 Unify or Sonas. If you have that hardware, the only other component you need is the TPC, Tivoli Productivity Center, and the IBM Smart Cloud Storage Access software bit. And the installation and deployment of this could be done in a matter of hours. Once you are up and running, and then you can give to the end users the portal so they can start using and consuming the storage in a very simple manner. As Fonda mentioned, you can define service classes for certain group of users. If I'm a special user needing high performing, high available kind of storage, then I'm going to be using the premium platinum kind of storage. But if I'm a regular user just needing my cloud for backup purposes, I may want to use bronze class, for example. Functions are being performed by the cloud administrator, but me as an end user is very simple. I'm just going to pick and choose the level of class I need.
So learning curve is pretty important to me. My productivity went downhill with Windows 8 appearing on my desktop. So Windows 8 is pretty hard to learn. How hard is it if I'm an end user here and I want to use self-service storage? Do I have a big learning curve, or is this how easy is this for me?
I would like to use an example that Nikki, my business line management, typically use. And she said, this is a tool that my mother can use at home.
Okay. Is there anything else we should tell our worldwide audience here in the IBM community, people who might be considering Smart Cloud? Anything else you'd like to tell them that is important?
I think, sometimes we get these questions from the technical side, I don't want to let go all of that storage to an end user. What if they over-provision? Well, the beauty of this tool is that actually you can set guidelines, you can set policies, and you can give them a limit, a threshold, or you can even give the department head the capacity that he will be in charge of, maybe for his own employees, how much capacity that he wants to provision. And obviously underneath the tool we have the intelligent storage systems like StoreWise V7000 Unified, that it has the thin provisioning capabilities within it, right? So you are not over provisioning, and you can set those limits. I think that the other piece is important is some of the use cases of this. It's not just, file sharing and collaboration, but we have gotten some interesting needs. For example, you're a big company, and of course laptops, smartphone, tablets are in churn, right? People want the next generation. And you have all this data sitting on your laptop, and you need to give your employees the next generation. You want the IT department go through thousands of these employees to load their new images, or
It's a problem.
migrate their files, folders? No, actually you can use this for each employee to do their own migration. Put your files, critical files, on the company's cloud, swap the new system in, new laptop, new tablet in, right? And start loading your files and pulling them into your own new generation device. That is, to me, a tremendous productivity improvement, not only for the employee, but for your whole IT department.
Manuel, Funda, thank you for joining Jeskel here at the IBM Edge 2013 booth.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
This is Russell Schneider, Jeskel Systems. I'm here at the IBM Edge 2013 booth. And joining me today is John Miller from IBM. John, what is it you do with IBM?
Yeah, thanks, Russ. I manage the StoreWise V7000 sales for North America. And I'm responsible, obviously, for sales execution, as well as defining requirements and helping our partners, as well as the IBM internal team, drive, V7000 sales successfully.
John, I hear a lot about V7000 as a disk system. What type of an end user would find V7000 a good fit?
Oh, that's a great question. Well, V7000 is a very versatile product. It is a mid-range or modular product by design, but it has a very unique architecture that's inherited some of the very best IBM technology that we have to offer. It embraces a lot of high-end function. For example, its foundation is the SAN volume controller, which we all know is our essentially go-to virtualization platform, and we've embedded that in the product, as well as it has great out-of-the-box performance characteristics. We inherited the XIV look and feel with their world-class GUI, as well as we have also incorporated the high-end DS8000 tiering and RAID function. So it really makes for a very versatile product. We sell an awful lot of it in our general business, as well as our mid-market customers. Our mid-market customers love it because of its ease of use, its automated wizard-based, installation, for example. Our general business customers want not only performance, but they want enterprise function and efficiency, so they love that element of it, and its scalability in a clustered architecture. And we have very broad ISV support. And in fact, we have a number of Fortune 100 customers that use it as a very viable Tier 2, Tier 3 solution in that space where enterprise class storage is too expensive or potentially overkill, right? So
how far could I scale one of these on a single footprint, John?
Good question. So because we have an architecture that allows me to add additional controllers or nodes, I can scale up to a capacity, internal capacity of over 1.9 petabytes in a single cluster, and up to 960 physical drives in the particular drive frames. But I can also add capacity by externally virtualizing existing storage, which allows us to even grow much, much larger than the 1.9 petabytes.
We're hearing a lot about flash here at Edge 2013, John. Tell us where would Flash fit into the V7000 picture? If I were a user and I was interested in Flash, how would V7000 help me deploy it?
Yeah, well, Flash is really a hot topic. It's important for customers because they need not only efficiency, but they need to drive more transactions. And we offer it in a number of different flavors in this V7000. One of which we offer, normal solid-state drive choices that customers can pin an Oracle database on a bank of SSD drives right inside the V7000 architecture. But we also have many customers that exploit it using our automated tiering architecture called EasyTier, which we inherited from the DS8000. It's an adaptive learning algorithm, takes 15 minutes to set up, requires no planning, and you can dynamically manage it. And so in a very small amount of solid state capacity, let's say 5%, I can accelerate the performance of the application 300%. Along with that, we also get the ability to exploit flash systems, which you probably heard a lot about. Flash systems is the premier low latency solid state kind of application that IBM purchased from Texas Memory Systems. We can deploy that underneath the V7000 and externally virtualize it and carve it up and make use of its capacity just like the internal SSDs if you really want large scale performance increases acceleration from Flash.
So John, would it be safe to say that the V7000 is like a prepackaged SVC in a box all set to deploy?
Absolutely. Its heritage is an architecture is built on the SAN volume controller. We run the same code, so it has all the same efficiencies and virtualization features, and it's embedded with the particular hardware, the SAS architected drives and flash memory, for example, and it allows you to start really small with a very versatile virtualized footprint and then grow it, as large as a SAN volume controller environment. Yeah.
So what if I were a user and I was out of capacity? I hear that you have a real-time compression feature. How does that work? Tell us about RTC.
Oh yeah, real-time compression is a real deal. It's very exciting technology. It fundamentally allows one to take a transactional workload, whereby in the industry this has really been prohibitive because of latency, right, on the application. But take a transactional workload like an Oracle database, for example, and allow it to run at real time in the data path with no performance degradation, with essentially maybe 3-to-1 compression ratio, up to 75% reduction in the space it's required.
So if I had 100 terabytes and I had an Oracle database or a SQL database, I could potentially put 300 terabytes of space and 100 terabytes of volumes with this thing?
Absolutely. Relational database is really a sweet spot for real-time compression, and it's not uncommon for our customers to get 3-to-1, 4-to-1 compression ratios on those kind of workloads.
How hard is it to turn on or enable RTC? Is it part of V7000? What do I have to do to turn it on?
Yeah, good question. It's fully integrated into the kernel, first off, so you don't install any separate software or anything, and it's embedded right into the user interface, and so we make it easy for you to turn on and off and to migrate particular workloads over into compressed volumes. And we also have a methodology that allows you to evaluate the candidates that might be good choices for real-time compression.
And would RTC hurt performance? I mean, does it take performance away from the system?
Yeah, there are certain best practices associated with deployment, and you want to follow those. We have a tool called the Compressinator, which allows customers to evaluate which workloads are good compression candidates and which ones are not. And of course, it's pretty basic that you wouldn't want to compress something that's already compressed, for example, so you want to avoid that kind of workload itself.
In terms of performance, John, my understanding is that it compresses the data before it hits the cache on the storage subsystem, which actually can benefit performance in some cases. Is that true?
Yeah, so by compressing the data at real time in the data path, right, it effectively accelerates or increases the internal effective bandwidth of the systems itself, right? So if I compress the data 2-to-1, that particular payload that's being written down to the disk is only half as small, right? And there are an element of the real-time compression where there is a cache layer there, and we do use compressed data in that particular cache layer there, so it essentially makes that part of the cache essentially 2x, right?
John, how many V7000 systems has IBM sold worldwide? Is this a successful product?
Oh, this has been just a rocket out of the chute. We are about 2.5 years into its initial launch in fourth quarter 2010. We've shipped well over 25,000 systems and something like, I don't know, a couple hundred petabyte of capacity at this point in time, and we continue to see customers now come back and buy their second and third system, and the size of the systems since over the last 2 years has essentially grown to 100%. So the adoption rate and the maturity level for our customers with the product is proving out to be a very successful product, and no doubt we will be taking share from the competition here.
John, thank you for joining Jescal Systems at the Edge 2013 booth.
Thank you very much. All right.